I do. I have a letter of resignation, or actually a letter of retirement in front of you that we just received today. And I would like to add that to new business letter B. We already have a resignation there, or a retirement there, so if we could combine those two, that would be ideal.
All right, any other changes? What are the wishes of the board on the modified agenda?
I'd move that we approve the agenda with the changes.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Peters,
Yes.
Peel,
Yes.
Shenandoah,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes, next item on the agenda is public communications. Anybody in the audience wish to address the public? Not seeing any moving and anybody indicating they do, we'll move on to the administrator's report. First item on the agenda is North Dakota School Board Association Winter Summit, February 5th and 6th. Dr. Rederath.
Yeah, just let us know if you're wanting to attend. It's school boards does this every year. They renamed it this year, but a lot of the focus is around budget and finance, around negotiation pieces, election basics, just some of those important things for us to know as a board. So let us know if you want to attend and we'll get you registered.
All right, if you want to attend, please let Dr. Bitz or Dr. Rederath know. They'll get you on the list. Next item, National School Board Convention, April 10th through the 12th. Dr. Rederath.
Yeah, the same thing. Please let us know if you're interested in attending. I believe it is in San Antonio this year, and if there's a group that would like to go, we will get you registered. I don't believe there's an agenda out yet on it. I looked a couple of days ago and they hadn't had it posted.
Is there any set timelines on, like reduced rates or anything like that that we need to be aware of?
I'll look at that tomorrow and send an email out to the board on what the deadline is for registration.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on that? Again, let them know if you want to go so they can get that taken care of. Next item, free and reduced lunch update. Dr. Rederath.
Yes, you'll see that in your packet for the month of December. The green at the very bottom is our district rate. Right now as a district, we're 36.19% free and reduced lunch. So any of the schools that are in yellow, if we use December to qualify for Title I, they would be our Title I qualifying schools. So nobody out of the ordinary there right now. Those are all schools we currently serve for title: the middle school, Custer, Lewis and Clark, Lakewood, Mary Stark, and Roosevelt.
All right, we do have our choice of which month we want to use, right?
We do.
Yep, go ahead.
Dr. Rederath, Dr. Bitz. Question about the free and reduced lunch. I know in the special session there are two bills or three bills, two I think, that got through. Plus there is an initiative where they're gathering signatures for another. And could you give a little context as to what will change for us should the legislature and or this initiative measure go forward?
And Dr. Bitz can jump in. I do think a bill is going to pass special session here for free lunch and breakfast. I don't think they want it to be an initiated measure because then it would go into the Constitution. And while I think we all agree, no one's going to argue with free lunch and breakfast for students, putting spending in the Constitution is never something I think people are super comfortable with. So I do think they're going to have a bill go through so it's in statute and law. As far as financially for us, not a huge impact. Free and reduced lunch numbers, we're going to have to continue to try to find a way to track that metric when we're looking for Title I and those sorts of things. So how we want to do that, we'll have to talk as a district what our best way of doing that is, because we do use those numbers for this. We don't have to. We have to use a metric now with the way they redid title funding, so we could look at something else. I'm not sure we've ever found what that something else would be. So I think that's going to be the biggest change for us is how do we adjust and what do we do to collect that information?
And I think the state wants us to collect those. They're going to want all schools to collect those numbers as well, because if we're collecting a partial payment from the federal government, it's less the state has to contribute. So, but it's hard if people are getting it free for them to want to fill it out. So that's going to be the challenge that schools are going to face. As long as we're telling stories, I'll tell one. We had a call with a Zoom meeting with a couple of legislators, and one of our area superintendents says, "I don't need free lunch for my kids. I can pay for my kids' lunch." And one of the legislators made a comment that made some sense to me. He said, we talked about that. He said, we thought about setting the threshold at 400 or 500% of the poverty level, and above that you have to pay. He said, but that requires schools then to have a process in place to bill and to collect. He said, and that's not free, and there's so few kids above that it just almost, if you're going to do it, he said, it just makes sense to do it for everybody.
I think for us, one of the big messages, though, going into next legislative session is that this is not education money. Like, it's money that's benefiting our students and our families, which is good. But to lump that 70 million, roughly what it's going to cost to do that, into our per pupil funding, or to make that argument, is what makes me a little nervous. So I think just continuing that mantra of really good, we want everybody to have breakfast and lunch, but that is not part of our per pupil funding.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
Anybody else have questions, comments? You guys all done? Got any more? All right, then we'll move on to Mandan Public School Finance 101. Mr. Legacy.
Yeah, good evening. Good to see all of you tonight. In your packet, I hope it comes on the screen. There it is. We put together a presentation for our middle school and high school staff today for Braves Engage, and I thought it'd be a great refresher for the board, and actually probably more importantly for our public that is going to watch this tonight. So just going to go through some basic general finances of what our general fund is, what our building fund is, and then I want to touch on our health insurance. That's been a hot topic around the school district for very valid reasons. So our general fund, you know this, but maybe our public doesn't know. What is it? It is our operating fund. We spend all of our time as a school board administration. That's what we talk about. It's $67 million. We use it for salaries and benefits, classroom instruction, student services. Think of it as anything that's happening inside our buildings, educationally related. And here's a breakdown of how that $67 million is spent. We spend 82.2% on wages and benefits. You share this and people are kind of shocked. We have almost 800 employees in our district. We have a lot of people that we employ in the community. Our transportation contract is about 4% of our budget. Utilities, overhead, 4%. Classroom supplies, 4%. And then we have just other catch-all expenses of 5%. This makes it tough for us when we talk about budget constraints. When our budget is people, it is really hard for us to adapt quickly. Where does our revenue come from? Same thing. We bring in $67 million a year. 23% comes from property taxes and 70% comes from state foundation aid. We really don't have a lot of say in our revenue anymore. It is all controlled by our state legislature. With our new tax caps on our property tax limits and in the foundation aid, our revenue is really set for us. In our property taxes, you've seen this, kind of broke it down a little bit more. On the table in front of you, you can see the blue cells are what we consider our general fund levies. There are 4 of them that are available to us. Our general fund levy is capped at 60 mils. This is unrestricted dollars that we have to levy that comes into the general fund that we use for salaries, benefits, all those general fund supplies we talked about earlier. The board discretionary is an additional 10 mil authority that you can levy that, again, is unrestricted, that comes into the general fund. The tuition levy, we are allowed to levy for those costs for those students that we send out of district to Ann Carlson Center, Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch. We spend about $750,000 to $800,000 per year on those tuition costs, so we're going to levy to recover some of those funds next year. The miscellaneous fund we are not levying for this year, but will be in the future. We are capped at a 12 mil limit on our miscellaneous fund. And then below, we levy also in our building fund and for special assessments. Those are legally restricted. The building fund we have to use on bricks and mortar, long-term maintenance. The special assessments, where we levy 3.75 mils, that's just like you have at home. Curb and gutter, street repair projects, that's what that levy is for. Then our sinking and interest on the bottom there, that's our mortgage payments for our debt for the high school, for Lakewood, Red Trail. That's the easiest way to think about it, is that is our mortgage payment. It is set aside just for debt service. Our state foundation aid, it makes up 70% of our general fund budget. The payment per student this year is $11,349 per student. I want to say that during legislative session, it's always a hot topic of The state's going to give 1%, 2%, 3% increases. This is the number that they're talking about, that per pupil payment of $11,349. This number is driven completely by enrollment. We talk about enrollment as an admin team at least weekly. We're talking about it. Right now, I think all of our conversations have centered around birth rates in Morton County because we're trying to track, what's going to happen over the next 5 years so we have a better pulse on our enrollment. And speaking of enrollment, I know the board, you have seen multiple enrollment pieces of information that have come out that are more detailed than this, but just overall for the last 5 years, we've grown by about 200 students, but we're really kind of seeing this enrollment growth flatten out. We're up 19 students this year from last year. Next year, I think we're going to gain only 7 or 8. And it's a little worrisome right now. Our kindergarten class is our second smallest class in the district. So our total enrollment K through 12 is going to stay about the same, but we're going to see that bubble group of 3rd, 4th, 5th graders are going to start moving from the elementary level through our middle school and high school. So we need to be ready to adapt for staffing to accommodate those bubbles. We are down, I'm going to get this wrong, but I think we're down 60 students in our elementary from last year. Next year we're going to go down another 27. The year after that it's 87. Not losing those kids in the district, but they're going from the elementary to the middle school, then to the high school. So we really need to stay on top of that. The budget challenges, you know them. You've heard me talk about them at length. I've budgeted a deficit this year of $1.6 million. It is going to be worse than that. Our health insurance fund has not operated well this year. We have had to supplement that with some general fund dollars. So we're going to look at about a $2 million deficit this year. That's okay. We have plans to get back to a balanced budget next year. We do have carryover funds to kind of get us through the year. But it's not a good feeling to have that large of a deficit, and it is not sustainable. We need to make plans for the future. Facilities budgeting. I talked about our building fund levy. Again, we are legally restricted on the building fund to use that for bricks and mortar. We use it for major repairs, renovations. Our building fund we use to put the addition on at Red Trail and the middle school. Safety, security improvements, roofs, HVAC. Those are expensive projects, and that is what the sole use of the building fund is for. And for planning purposes, last year we did that Krauss-Anderson study to help us plan for long-term capital maintenance. And you can see for the next 5 years, just some revenue and debt projections that we have. I'm going to look at 26. We're going to bring in $3.6 million this year. Half of that is allocated to debt payments for Red Trail and the middle school addition. So we have $1.8 million available for those long-term maintenance projects. That doesn't go very far. Last year, if you remember, we did a bathroom renovation at Lewis and Clark that cost $400,000. Those funds get eaten up very, very quickly. But I do think we have a good plan to kind of address some of those needs at our elementary schools. You're going to start seeing a lot of work done at Mary Stark, Roosevelt, Lewis and Clark. They need some work. That's where our building fund's going to be going to the next few years, followed up by some work at the middle school and Fort Lincoln. And then our health insurance, it has been a tough year. This was an eye-opener at our sessions today. I don't think our staff really understood how much we spend as a district on health insurance. It makes up 7% of our general fund budget. We're going to spend $4.5 million just on premiums this year on the district side of things. So it is a huge cost for us. And it's been a really tough year. Our current loss ratio is 129%, which means that we spent 29% over the premiums that we have collected. It has been difficult to manage it, and I'm hoping it's a one-year blip. The last 4 years, we have operated at 100% or below, so we've actually been very efficient with our health insurance. We have just had a really difficult year. That's necessitated some changes in our health insurance plan. We had to change some max out-of-pockets. We had to add a PPO plan back in. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but for the most part, 87% of our staff is going to come out ahead financially with the new plans that we changed to. It's just going to be a tough year for those that other 13%, and unfortunately that's how insurance works. And then what happened this year? We had 27 large claims in excess of $50,000. Those have totaled 53% of our medical claims for the year, $2.5 million. That's just 27 individuals on our plan. That's an anomaly. Working with our health insurance consultant, we expect 30 to 35% of our large claims to equal the total claims, and we've really ballooned past that this year. We're hoping it's a one-year blip. Again, it's really hard to know. Healthcare is so volatile right now that all we can do is keep working with the information we have. Looking forward with our health insurance committee meets regularly to discuss these issues. And one thing that we made very clear to our staff today is we are not going to guarantee there won't be future changes to your health insurance plan. It is so volatile right now. I don't want to make changes. I know Dr. Bitz, Dr. Rederath, none of us want to make changes to a health insurance plan going forward, but we just can't guarantee it at this point. There's just too many unknown with healthcare right now. So with that, I know I went real fast. This is probably a refresher, but please, if you have any questions on what you had in your packet, please let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Legacy. Anybody got questions? A lot of information here. Go ahead.
I'm just full of curiosity tonight.
That's good.
Ryan, so you talked about there's so much uncertainty about healthcare plans. Does that have to do with the ACA credits expiring, or how does it tie into the market that we're in? Like, can you give any insight into that?
Not for us. The ACA credits expiring doesn't touch us at all. I'm going to go, if I can go back to a couple slides. Our high cost claimants, it was just a huge year. The one factor that we've talked about in our health insurance committee with our consultant is our max out of pocket on our HSA plan was $3,300 last year, $3,400 last year. One thing that we're wondering is that is very low, that max out of pocket. So I believe that we were inviting some risk onto our plan. No matter where you go, you're gonna shop around. I'm on my spouse's plan because it's a lower max out of pocket. People shop, and they came to our plan and said, "Hey, that's the best thing financially for us." So I think we invited some of that risk to our plan this year, and we had to adjust for it. I really think it's strictly due to healthcare costs.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have questions? Thank you, Mr. Legacy. That was very informational.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, then we're going to move on to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have review and consider previous board minutes from December 15, 2025. Review and consider special board meeting minutes from January 5th, 2025. Review and consider special board meeting minutes from January 15th, 2026. I'm sorry, both of those were 2026. Accept joint powers board meeting minutes from January 8th, 2026. Accept the policy and personnel minutes from January 12th, 2026. Review and consider November 2025 bills, November 2025 revenues and expenditures, and December 2025 bills and December 2025 revenues and expenditures. What are the wishes on the consent agenda?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
We have a motion, we have a second,
I'll second.
and we have a second. Please call roll.
Burris,
Yes.
Huistel,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Jenner,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes, next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. Review and consider approval of non-renewing teaching contracts for Cassidy Schmidt at elementary at Red Trail, Sam Gallagher, social studies at Mandan High School. Dr. Bitz, can you just explain a little bit about the non-renewing and provide us a little information on that, please?
Yeah,
Non-renewing, just so the
Yeah,
public understands what that means.
by state law, any contract issued after January 1st does not have continuing contract rights. That does not mean these people won't be back with us next year. It's just we don't have to make that decision today. Cassidy Schmidt, student taught for us, and she was the teacher of record for us at Red Trail in a, I believe, third grade classroom. We paid her as a substitute while she student taught, and now we're going to pay her as a teacher for the rest of the year. Sam Gallagher he graduated in December from the University of Mary, and is now in Rob Birdhorse's classroom. If you remember, we let Mr. Birdhorse out of his contract to accept a job with Standing Rock on the Standing Rock Reservation, so Sam is doing that. So I would ask that you approve these two contracts.
All right. What are the wishes of the board on these two contracts?
I would move that we approve the these non-renewing teacher contracts.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second,
Second.
and we have a second. Any further discussions? Seeing and hearing them, please call roll.
Burris,
Yes.
Hubestall,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Shenandoah,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is review and consider the following certified teacher resignations. Brian Palmer, special ed at Roosevelt, and Lynn Haugen was the one that we added on for this one. Dr. Bitts.
Yeah, and these are both retirements. Both have been longtime Mandan teachers, and they've decided that this is going to be their last year. I would ask that you accept their retirements and thank them for their service to Mandan Public Schools.
Thank you, Dr. Bitts. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the two certified teacher resignations, and we thank them for their many years of service.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second,
A second.
and we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing them, please call roll.
Burris,
Yes.
Hubestall,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Shenandoah,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is review and consider approval of a superintendent contract. If you remember, we've had a couple of special meetings in relation to this. One of them to go over and consider who we were going to interview, and then last week we had an actual interview in regard to it. We went into executive session and come up with a contract to offer Dr. Rederath, in relation to it. You have the contract in front of you. There is what we have. This one here doesn't show Dr. Rederath's signature, but she has told me she has signed it. So from her perspective, she is willing to do this, and we thank her for that. Dr. Bitts, Dr. Rederath, anything you two want to add before we address this issue?
No, I just am so thankful for the opportunity and the trust that you're putting in me to do this job, and I'm excited to continue to work with you to serve our students and our community. And I don't know that thank you is enough to say to Dr. Bitts and the work that he's done, and to say I have big shoes to fill is an understatement, but I'm excited for the opportunity, so thank you.
I heard he's retiring. Maybe he'll leave a pair there for you.
No, and I would say you made an excellent choice, and I would ask you to approve the contract.
All right. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the superintendent contract for Dr. Rederath.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
And we have a second. Any further discussions? Any further discussions? Please call roll.
Burris,
Yes.
Hubestall,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Shenandoah,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes. Dr. Rederath, congratulations. We look forward to working with you in your role as assistant until we get to July 1st. So we look forward to working with you then, and congratulations, well deserved in relation to it. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is review and consider approval of open enrollment application seeking a deadline waiver. Dr. Bitts.
Yeah, I believe there's nine of them in front of you from 3 different families. And it would be our recommendation that they're all currently Mandan students, and they want to remain here after their families moved out of district. So we would ask you to approve these open enrollment applications.
All right, what are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the open enrollment applications in front of us.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
And we have a second. Any further discussions? I'm going to make my comment I make all the time. 9 people, they moved out of town for other reasons, but they leave their students here. That says a lot about the services they're getting here. So I just want to say thank you to all of our teachers, all of our support staff, all of our administration, everybody, because this is a sign we're doing something right in regard to it. So anything else? If not, please call roll.
Burris,
Yes.
Hubestall,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Shenandoah,
Yes.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is February 2nd, regular school board at 5:30 PM, City Hall. February 9th, facilities and finance, 5 PM at the Brave Center. February 17th, regular school board, 7 PM at City Hall. That's a 7 PM. Just so you know, I won't be here at that meeting, Mr. Horn, so I'll be out of town. Anybody else have anything to add to the list? Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
February 2nd is a wellness committee at 4 PM, also at the Brace Center.
Any other one?
The 7 o'clock meetings, we could switch sometimes and do a 4 o'clock.
Whichever.
I'll get my way sometime.
Yeah. All right. Take that under advisement. Anything else?
I did look at the National School Board Convention. We're past the early bird date, so now we have till April 9th. I think it's still something we can do for sure. So I think by probably end of February, first part of March, if you could let us know if you would like to go, then we have time to make the travel arrangements.
All right. Sounds good. Anything else? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.